Hello, my name is Rachel Idafasha. We are going to talk about the disasters. First of all, we're gonna know the meaning of a disaster. What is a disaster? Disaster are serious disruption to the functioning of a community that exceed its capacity to cope using its own resources. They can be caused by naturally or man-made, and all technological hazards, as well as various factors that influence the exposure and vulnerability of a community. Types of a disaster. Here, we're going to have two types of disasters. We have natural disaster and man-made disaster. First of all, we're going to know the meaning of natural disaster. Natural disaster are events that result from natural hazards and have several impacts on society, causing loss of life, property damage, and economic losses. These disasters can include flooding, droughts, earthquakes, tropical cyclones, tsunamis, volcanic activity, wildfires, and more. So then we go on the second type of disaster, which we called man-made disaster. Man-made disaster are events that involve human intent, negligence, or error, resulting in the failure of man-made systems. These disasters are distinct from natural disasters as they stem from action such as crime, arson, civil disorder, terrorism, war, biological or chemical threats, and there is also cyber attacks and many examples of man-made disasters. So we are going on an example of natural disasters. There is what we call flooding. Actually, we're gonna first know the meaning of flooding. What is flooding? Flooding is an overflowing of water onto land that is normally dry. It occurs due to the heavy rains, ocean swells coming on shore, rapid snow melt, or the breaking of dams or leaves. There are types of flooding. There is riverine flooding, which is the abundant rainfall can lead to more runoff entering a river channel that it can contain within its banks, causing the river to overflow onto the adjacent floodplains. And also there is another type of flooding which called flash flooding, which is characterized by the rapidly rising water levels within 6 hours of intense rainfall, often due to soil's inability to absorb the water quickly enough, leading to rapid surface runoff. Here, as you go on this slide, you are seeing the picture of the floods, the heavy rainfall which have been falling down, and there are many people. You see that it took everything in this picture. So I think I cannot talk too much because you are seeing it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hateikimana Abub. I'm the member of Group 9. As you see here, we are talking about disaster. My fellow colleagues have talked about the meaning, the meaning of disaster and the types of disaster and some example of natural disaster. I'm here to progress with drought as natural disaster. As you know, drought it is the prolonged long period with heavy sunshine and insufficient rainfall in a given period. As you know, when there is heavy sunshine, there is water scarcity in that region. Uh, as you know, that prolonged dry spell can lead to various problems such as famine when there because you know without water agriculture is impossible, and that drought can lead to migration of people because the agriculture it is impossible. There is what we call famine, because without agriculture there is no food, and people can migrate in order to find the safe place where they can get water for their cattle and food. There are two types of drought, permanent and seasonal. Permanent drought, these types characterize the driest climates where vegetation is sparse and adapted to aridity. Agriculture in this region is only possible with continuous irrigation. A permanent drought, it's like the forever drought. Yeah. At this period, agriculture it is impossible. In order to be possible, it requires irrigation continuously. And seasonal drought occur in a region with well-defined annual rainy and dry season. A seasonal drought, it means drought occur in one season and another season vice versa. The agriculture in this region, in order to survive, it's required to be done in the season which is coincide with the rainy season. Yeah, let's take a look on the picture of the permanent drought as you look on your screen, and the next is the picture of seasonal drought. And let's move on earthquake as a natural disaster. As you know, the earthquake is the shaking of the earth from its core underground. This shaking may be caused by volcanic activity. As you know, when the volcano is erupting, it releases gases and the rock can shake the world, the earth. And the human activity such as mining, for example, when people are using heavy machines that are vibrating at high level, they can shake the earth, that lead to earthquake. And the nuclear test, when some people are testing nuclear bomb or weapon, when they fall after bursting, they can create what we call earthquake. Thank you for your attention. Let me call my colleague to progress.
Hello everyone, I'm by the name of Ariherton Ishimwe. I'm one of the members of Group 9. As our group member has discussed before, we are discussing about the disasters. We have talked about natural disasters and the human disasters. Now we are talking about some examples of natural disasters. As my colleague talked before about some natural disasters, I'm going to continue with tsunami as the one of the natural disasters. As you see on the picture, tsunami, it is the massive of water that comes from the ocean, which caused by the earthquakes under the water. Let me tell you the definition of tsunami. A tsunami is a series of numerous ocean waves caused by earthquake, underwater slides, volcanic or asteroid impacts. Tsunami can travel up to 500 miles per hour. As you understand, tsunami it is more fast, where it can travel 500 miles per hour. Over deep water, 500 miles per hour over deep waters, and have wavelength that can exceed 500 kilometer. If we say wavelength, it is the magnitude of the tsunami that is occur. So let me continue about another natural disaster, which is volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption is explosion of gases, rocks, fragments, or molten lava from within the Earth's through event onto the Earth's surface or onto the atmosphere. As you see here on the pictures, we are seeing about the eruption of the volcano, and this picture is showing when the volcano it is erupting. Here you are seeing the lava from the core of the earth is coming from the core to the earth's surface. This which can cause some different effect on the earth, like the destruction of properties, a death of some animals that lives nearby the volcanoes, and other different impact to the nature. Other uh, Another natural disaster we can talk about now, it is landslide. Landslide, as the definition below says, it is the geological phenomena characterized by the downslope movement of rocks, debris, earth, or soil. Here, as you see on the picture, landslide is when the fall of the soil, land, debris, or move of the rock, as you see on the pictures, which can cause some effect like uh, like the destruction of property also, and it can also harm the plant that is on that land which is slided. Another Okay, now we are going to talk about some main causes of natural disasters. First of all, we can talk natural activities like natural activities in Earth's crust, like volcanicity, can cause earthquake. Here, these natural activities, this volcanicity, it can cause earthquake, and also the the volcanic eruption, and both of that they can cause the destruction of properties. As we have talked about before, the volcanic eruption can kill the animals that are nearby that volcano which is erupting, and also the earthquake can make the destruction of properties like the building and other infrastructures. Another thing, it is tectonic movement. Tectonic movement refers to the colliding of tectonic plates can cause earthquake. Also, the movement of tectonic, when they collide, it causes the earthquake, and that earthquake can make the destruction of properties and other things, as I have said it before, and also it can take off the lives of peoples and animals. Other main cause, it is soil erosion. Soil erosion refers to the removal of the top soil. This can cause landslides. As we talked about before in the previous slides, we have said that the landslide, it is caused by soil erosion, and that have many effects to the plants and some animals that are nearby to the site where landslide occur. Now we are going to talk about the impact of natural disasters. Natural disasters have different impact, but I'm going to talk about environmental impact caused by natural disasters. Natural disasters can have several environmental impacts that disrupt ecosystem and habitat. It can disrupt ecosystem and the habitats. For example, we can talk about hurricanes. Hurricane can lead to significant damage to coastal habitat, disrupting native species such as shellfish, fish, birds, and mammals. Pollutant from flooded industrial sites can contaminate water sources. As you know, a hurricane is the massive of winds which comes and disrupt everything, where it can make the destruction of properties as well as other disasters, where it can destruct the roof of some of the houses and also can impact to some plants like trees and also the habitat of some species like mammals, shellfish, fish, and birds. Another environmental impact of disasters are wildfire. Wildfire can defoliate forest and cause structural change to ecosystem. Wildfire may be directly kill or impacted by habitat loss. Here, as you know, wildfire, some examples of wildfire we can talk about like bush burning or the burning the forest and others. This wildfire, it can cause the loss of lives, for example, to some animals which live in the forest, for example, or others which lives in the bushes, and the loss of the habitat for those animals that live there. Another, it is floods. Floods can impact water quality when sewage treatment facilities flood or debris enters waterways. Riverbanks may erode during flash flood events. These floods, this impact, floods can come and cause the pollution of the water and which can cause the loss of fresh water in the society. And another, it can make the destruction of some habitat of animals and can also kill some species like fish which lives in the river when the floods attack the river. And others are tornadoes. Tornadoes can cause the destruction to the landscapes and habitat effective wildlife population. Also, tornado can cause the destruction of properties, death of loss of some lives, and other the landslides and other things like that. Thank you for your time. Let my colleague continue with others impact of natural disasters. Thanks.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here by the name Aline Dushimimana, and I'm going to talk about the impact of natural disaster. A natural disaster, it is divided into two parts, like human impact and environmental impact. First, environmental impact, have discussed about the previous slide, but I'm going to talk about human impact. In this human impact, it is caused by natural disaster. There are significant human impact as well. There's a include like loss of life, displacement, and emotional trauma. About loss of life, we know disaster can result in a tragic loss of life due to direct impact or secondary impact. While displacement, this disaster can cause displacement of people from one place to another as migration, for finding survival or life well-being of people. Third one is emotional trauma. It is like disease caused by disaster. I think it's very understandable about this human impact. Let us continue with Mitigation measure to prevent effect of natural disaster. This is the how we can prevent disaster. First, it is building code and infrastructure standard. This is enforcing, strengthening building code and infrastructure standard is very important for enhancing the resilience of structure against natural disaster. Second one, it is investment in early warning system. Here, developing and investing in early warning system that provide timely alert about impending disaster can save lives and reduce damage. Third one is community education and preparedness program. Here, there is some training about people of how they can prevent themselves the disaster in slow evacuation procedure, emergency response protocol. This is essential for enhancing resilience. Fourth one is nature-based solution. Here it is embracing nature-based solutions such as restoring ecosystem, conserving wetland, planting trees, or creating green infrastructure can help mitigate the impact of food disaster. For example, if we can plant more trees, they can prevent some disaster like landslide or mass wasting. I think this is very understandable. Other it is collaborative approach. Fostering collaborating among government agents, non-profit organizations, private sector entity, and the local community is key to developing comprehensive disaster risk reduced structure, like innovation in technology. Here it is very important this point because technology and enable foster assessment of damage, efficient resource allocation, and better decision making during crises. Other is capacity building and training. Here this is training about how we can prevent some disaster. I can say building the capacity of local authority, emergency responder, community leader, and volunteer through training program, enhancing their ability to effectively damage disaster. Let us continue with the next slide. About natural disaster impact, we can conclude by saying that implementing a combination of these solutions tailored to specific hazard and local context, community can enhance their resilience to natural disaster and minimize the negative consequences on human life and the infrastructure. Here it is the example of man-made disaster. As we know, we have seen that man-made disaster, it is disaster caused by human activity. First, it is terrorism. Here, the unlawful use of violence or threat to intimidate or coerce civilian population or government with the goal of furthering political, social, or ideological objective. This terrorism is divided into two parts. There is international terrorism and domestic terrorism. Here, international terrorism, this is refers to the violent and criminal act committed by individual or group who are inspired by, associated with designated foreign terrorist organization or nation. Why domestic terrorism involves a violent and criminal act committed by individual or group with country border to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influence. I can say that this is very understandable, but we are going to show you the example of this international terrorism and domestic terrorism on the next slide. Let me invite my colleague to continue with that. Thank you.
Good morning, class. Today we are going to see the examples of man-made disaster. My fellow partner has explained this, but I'm going back to this in summary because of there is some image I'm going to show which explain this well. So, there's terrorism, as my partner said, it is unlawful use of violence or threats to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or government with the goal of furthering political, social, strategic object. So there is two types: international and domestic. International, this refers to violent and criminal acts committed by individuals or groups who are inspired by or associated with designated foreign terrorist organized or nation or state sponsored. And international terrorism involve activities that transcend national boundaries and often have global implications. So there's domestic terrorism. Domestic terrorism involves violent and criminal acts committed by individuals or groups within a country's borders to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences. So, as you see, this is international terrorism. This international terrorism, this is in USA 2001, where the Islamic States attacks America, USA. And this is domestic. As you see, it is a man within destruction properties. It is domestic. So there's number two, war. War is an intense armed conflict between states, governments, societies, or paramilitary groups characterized by extreme violence, destruction, and mortality. So this is a man-made disaster because, as we all know, war can cause destruction of properties, death of people, and sometimes some natural disaster, which includes earthquake when there is some nuclear bombs which can be dropped from local places, and this can cause some earthquakes or vibration in that area. So there's cyber attacks. Cyber attacks are malicious and deliberate attempts by individuals or organizations to breach the information system of other for various gains. So, as we all know, cyber attacks, it is a man-made disaster. It is caused by people. There are people who do cyber attacks. So these are called hackers. Hackers can hack banks, people, states, government with the various gains. Some can gain money, some can gain like information, and this is a disaster because many who did it, they did it illegal. And there is nuclear testing. Nuclear testing refers to experiments conducted to determine the performance, yield, and effects of nuclear weapons. It is a disaster, yes, because nuclear testing, this is performed in certain area. Sometimes there's ocean, sometimes there's deserts or a place where there is no people around, but this causes sometimes earthquake. Sometimes when it is in ocean, this can cause death of many aquatic animals such as fishes. And this can harm water, and this can harm our atmosphere because, as you see, there is a massive harm which is released, and this goes in atmosphere and can cause global warming, can cause greenhouse gases, and climatic change. So there's impact of man-made disaster. Number 8 is economic impact. Man-made disaster can have several economic consequences. They can disrupt businesses, destroy infrastructure, and lead to significant financial losses. So as we know, the man-made disaster, including war, terrorism, can destroy property, hence lead to government to rebuild those properties which cause financial losses. And there is social impact. The social impact of man-made disaster is profound. These events can cause fear, anxiety, and trauma among the individuals who have witnessed them. So, let me take an example of 1994 genocide against Tutsi. So, nowadays, there's still people who live with trauma, who live with fear, and we all know it is a bad thing that happened to our country. So, number 6 is political impact. Man-made disasters often have a political ramification as well. Government may face criticism for the handling of the crisis or the failing to prevent the event. So, let me get back to 1994 genocide against Tutsi. As you know, in the past days, our country has had a bad image in globally or locally, where they say all Rwandans are killers and other bad things. So thank you.
By the names of Tratsinze William, I'm going to continue with mitigation measures to prevent man-made disasters. Here are some measures. We have strict regulatory compliance. Regular inspections and audits can ensure that companies adhere to safety protocols and maintain equipment properly. There should be some inspections in some companies to see if they are not carrying out pollution that may cause disasters, or if they are making man-made disasters like viruses which may have impacts to many people. We have risk assessments and contingency planning as the second point. Developing comprehensive contingency plans that outline immediate response and procedures in case of a disaster can help mitigate the impact. This is like having equipment that can detect disasters, or people that may detect disasters like man-made disasters that may see that there is something like racism which may cause conflicts and wars, and then it is solved immediately. We have training and education, providing extensive training to employees on safety protocols, educating the workforce on potential risks and preventive measures can enhance preparedness. Yes, there should be mass communication and encouragement to people to have some skills about man-made disasters and how they can solve them. Like, people should know how to solve conflicts. They should know that there are some man-made disasters like wars, so they should adjust to have peace. We have also international cooperation, collaborating at the international level to share best practices, resources, and expertise in disaster prevention and response can strengthen global resilience against man-made disasters. Here on international cooperation, when international countries collaborate, they can provide wars, they can, through peace measures, they can prevent man-made disasters like hacking and cyber attacks. All those man-made disasters can be prevented, like terrorism, through cooperation between countries. Yes, I can also say environmental conservation, promoting sustainable practices like reducing deforestation and pollution can help mitigate environmental degradation. There are some man-made activities like industries may cause pollution, and pollution can cause natural disasters. So there should be those measures. There should be environmental conservation to avoid deforestation, because when deforestation is done, sometimes it can cause landslides. That's why we said there should be environmental conservation to prevent these kind of disasters. We can conclude saying that by implementing these mitigation measures, Proactively, governments, industries, communities, and individuals can work together to prevent or minimize the impact of man-made disasters on public health, the environment, and society as a whole. The first solution to help in preventing man-made disasters is unity and working together between people, governments, industries, and communities. When there is working together, there can be prevention of man-made disasters, so there is no problem that can be caused due to man-made disasters. Thank you.